free parking downtown SLO. Yeah, you heard that right. Just park in the new structure on the Pomo and Palm, across from the Creamery. Eat at La Esquina, Mistura, or Mama's Meatball, and they'll validate your parking.
Thank you.
To learn more about how to park free downtown, visit slowfreeparking.com.
You're Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
It is Thursday. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam. This is a special show for sure. For nearly 30 years, the name Kristin Smart hasn't just been a case, SLO Cal, Central Coast, California, the nation. It has been a feeling, a question without an answer, a family waiting in the space between hope and heartbreak. And just when you think the story has gone quiet, it breathes again. And yesterday morning, it did just that. A new search warrant was served at the home tied to Paul Flores, his mother, Susan Flores. It sent a shockwave through the community because this isn't just procedure. There is purpose here. And this house has been searched before. To get a warrant back at a house you've already been, that must be some probable cause. In an exclusive conversation, Ian Parkinson takes us inside that very moment. The sheriff of San Luis Obispo County is not talking to any other outlets, but we got him. What led them back? How evolving technology and relentless investigation continue to just push this case forward, even years after a conviction. And despite the fact that we're way past the conviction, he says the work is far from over. That's what I love about this guy. This isn't about closure. It's about coming home. And when you hear what he shares, you're going to understand why this case still has a grip on all of us. So this conversation happened yesterday morning, right as the search was going on. And you're going to hear it is still going on. Now, this lo-fi headline from the LA Times, there are some stories that stop being true crime. And we've always said this on this show. They become part of the DNA of, no pun intended, your own backyard. And that's that line, true crime, people, it's something that people binge now. But when this is your own story, it's different. Kristin Smart is that story here. And now almost 30 years later, investigators are back digging in Arroyo Grande. Yesterday morning, the sheriff's office served a brand new search warrant at the home of Susan Flores, the mother of Paul Flores, the man convicted of Kristin Smart's murder. Paul has been in prison for 3 years now, 25 to life, but Kristin's body has never been found. This new search is being driven by something that sounds half science, half Netflix docuseries. It's called soil vapor sampling. A team of scientists, including a former FBI forensic expert, used special probes in a neighboring yard and say they detected chemical compounds that may be consistent with human decomposition. Keyword there, it's may. The technology is still experimental. It's never been used in any criminal case like this before, but investigators apparently felt there was enough there to go back in. Ground penetrating radar, soil scientists, detectives, search teams, the whole thing. And man, this case just refuses to let go of this community, because every time you think you've heard the last weird detail, another one surfaces. Like the woman who rented Susan Flores' house after Kristin vanished, saying she found an earring in the driveway that looked like the one Kristin wore. Or, of course, the story about the digital watch alarm sound coming from the backyard for months and months until it just stopped. That's the kind of stuff that makes this case sometimes feel less like a news story, but almost more like a ghost that's been walking around SLO County since 1996. 30 years this month. And through all of it, Kristin still hasn't been brought home. So now the search is back on. We're going to go right into our conversation with Sheriff Ian Parkinson. I don't feel like ad reads right now are the most appropriate way to go. We'll get to our supporters coming up at the end of this. I do want you to stick around to the end of the show. But again, this is one of those moments where a community stops and listens.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
And I got to tell you, this interview came together in one of the most unexpected settings I've probably ever had a conversation in. I was at Adventist Health Simi Valley, as you know, visiting my dad when the call came through that Sheriff Ian Parkinson was ready and willing to have this discussion with just us. I explained to the nursing station what was happening, and their team could not have been more accommodating and generous. They offered me a quiet room to take the interview. And oddly enough, it's what they called RQI. It's a training room, the small little room with all where they stored the CPR, dummies, the training babies, the resuscitation equipment, the kind of room designed to teach people how to save lives. And oddly enough, there was something strangely human about having this conversation there. A room built around urgency, care, persistence, and hope, while literally talking about a case back at home that's demanded all four of those for nearly 3 decades. So before we begin, I just want to thank the team at Adventist Health in Simi Valley for their kindness, their flexibility in a moment that was very important, because right now, in real time, while this search is still active, we're being trusted with something rare, an exclusive conversation with Sheriff Ian Parkinson, the man who has carried this case for years, took it over, who has stood by the Smart family, and who continues to push for one thing: bring Kristin home. Sheriff, thank you so much for choosing to speak with us in this moment. Appreciate you being Up and Adam.
Absolutely. Good to hear from you.
So we woke up this morning, a lot of people just felt this jolt, like this story we've carried for nearly 30 years, took a big breath again. Take us inside the exact moment. What changed? What gave you enough to go back to her property today with that new warrant?
Well, first I'll tell you, nothing has changed from the beginning for me. It's always been a commitment to bringing Kristin home, bringing those responsible to justice. I said when Paul Flores got convicted that the case wasn't over, and it's never going to be over until we return Kristin to her family. So we've been continually working the case since the conviction. This is not the first search. I'm not going to disclose the previous one, but very substantial. Our goal is to take this wherever leads, wherever probable cause, wherever a judge signs off on our probable cause to go until we find Kristin. It's the investigators in this case, Clint Cole, back on it, returned from retirement to work part-time, and he is committed as anybody, but the whole investigative division, major crimes division at least, have been involved in this, and they're tenacious. This group of men and women just work tirelessly, and this is a result of it. And if this doesn't give us the results we need, then, we move on. And this is exactly, for at least my 15 years as sheriff, I have repeatedly told the Smart family, don't get your hopes up, manage your expectations. If this doesn't work, we're going to move to the next one and the next one. And this is what we did for probably 12 years until we were able to secure a search warrant and get evidence to convict Paul. And this is going to continue. And wherever the leads take us, wherever the probable cause is, it's not an issue of cost. These things are very costly, as you can imagine, and I'm not talking my personnel. It's bringing in other experts, bringing other people that we need, resources we need, and that's not the issue. And there's no value on, the body of your daughter. Right. So we're committed to that. And fortunately, I have amazing people that believe that too, and have done nothing but work hard, and will continue to do that.
The picture I saw today, and it looked like Detective Cole, and I kind of got chills, like to see him lace up and be out of retirement. What is that like to see, a valued, former team member that's still part-time in this, but his heart is in this full-time,
Yeah, and Adam, I don't think people fully grasp the fact that, every single victim takes a little bit of life out of you. So you feel that you want justice, you want, in this case, the recovery of Kristin's body for her family. And so these things are hard, and they don't understand this is just not one case in your career. This goes on day in and day out. It could be something as routine, I unfortunately say routine, as a domestic violence call, where you go out there and somebody's been victimized and they're afraid to report it. They really have been abused, and they just don't want to call because they're afraid. You feel that, you carry that. And so, this is a tough one when you have somebody that's been missing for 30 years and the family is hurting. They want their daughter to be buried appropriately, and it's never going to bring her back. We all know that. But what it's going to do is going to give the family at least the ability to see and respect her.
I know there's a line that you have to walk between protecting the active investigation and, of course, honoring the public that's deeply invested. And the fact that you would even take this time to give us this exclusive conversation, it just means the world to the audience. What can you responsibly share about maybe the nature of probable cause here? Are we talking new evidence, new technology? I know there's been conversation about advancements in ground penetrating radar. Maybe that's why we've actively involved the neighbor's property. Can you help us understand a little more broadly whether it's evolving technology or what might be bringing us to this location back there?
Well, I'll say this, that technology always evolves. Science always evolves. You're looking for that to improve. And I think DNA is a good example. Been around since the 80s, late 80s, but never quite usable. We didn't have a database. The technology itself improved. Ground penetrating radar has improved tremendously since Kristin went missing, because that house has been searched before with GPR, but GPR that's 25 years old.
Yeah.
So we live in a world of constant change in technology. I mean, just something as simple as your phone and your computer that most people deal with every day. It used to be you built your own computer and you replace components on it in the early days. Now, your life expectancy of a computer is a couple, 2-3 years, and you upgrade. Same with your phone. So technology is the same way. But I think the difference is that, when you have people that are looking for new ways and new answers, it tends to be tough because you have to be able to clearly show that it's accurate, and that takes time. I mean, you can start, you can be told that something is evolved and it's much better, but you got to prove it. Bottom line is we don't write our own warrants, we don't sign our own warrants. So a judge, you have to be able to show to a judge that there's evidence to support this, and that means there's enough probable cause to go in. So I would say big on the technology end of it, that technology, and then also science in this particular case. But, that's the benefit. I mean, we've had several cases in the last handful of years that have been solved through technology and science. And as you recall, when Paul was arrested, largely evidence was there, but science helped us prove beyond a reasonable doubt to the jury that Paul was responsible for this. So that's what we're striving for, but it's not always easy because everybody's got an idea. And, as I've told the Smarts countless times, it's not what you believe, it's what you can prove. And we can believe until, we're 100 years old that something happened and somebody did it. But if you can't prove it, it doesn't mean anything. And that's probably a fair part of our justice system to remember, is that we don't want people convicted based on belief. We want people based on what we can prove. And I think that's really what we saw with Paul. We proved it. And the jury made that decision independent from what we believed we had or what we believed we could prove. So everything we get, we evaluate. Sometimes it takes longer than what we want. It's easy to be impatient, especially after this time. And as you imagine, the Smarts, Denise and Stan, and the kids have been, amazingly patient. I mean, I still speak with them all the time, and I think they are hopefully optimistic that we will return Kristin to them, and that is our goal at this point.
2 more questions. As we record this conversation right now, Sheriff, your team is literally there doing and operating, executing this warrant. How long do you plan on your team being there? And as of this moment, anything you could say as any fruit that you've gleaned that has been something you've been looking for?
Well, I'll say this is, as far as the timing goes, however long it takes. This is going to be an extremely thorough search, so it could take 2-3 days. That's our plan. We're not going to walk out of there and not overturn every rock humanly possible. So that's really going to depend on what we see, what we find, and what direction it takes us. The second part of your question, I don't really know the answer to that yet. You know what? My job is to support they need and then stay the heck out of their way. They're qualified, they're experienced. As they see stuff, they will continue to brief me. Obviously, I indicated I was there this morning when they served the warrant, but then it's my turn to get out of the way and let them do their job, because I have full faith in them. And so as it develops and they find things, you may recall from the trial that the blood that was found, was toward the end, and we didn't know what it meant. We knew we had a decomp trail. We believed we had a decomp trail because we had experts out there telling us that's what they believed it was. But until we determined that it was human blood, we didn't know. And so this might be a same case scenario. We might find stuff that leads us in another direction, or it might be stuff that needs further evaluation and a form of scientific investigation. So it's early into this. There's a lot to be done, and I think as it progresses, we will know more, and certainly I will know more. But at this point, I'd love to release the fact that we found her or found evidence leading us to her, but our job is kind of investigate impartially and follow the leads, and until everything is done, we just don't know what that is yet.
Perfect lead into my last question, which is a personal one. You've built a reputation as a very steady man, a thorough sheriff. And in a case like this, I know facts, like you just noted, they have to lead the way. Evidence has to lead the way. But when you've lived with this case this long, when you've built these relationships with the families, you've built these relationships, this knowledge of the properties, carried this for decades, I imagine your gut starts talking too. Can you share with what your gut's telling you right now? My gut tells me that we know, and we've proven already that Paul did it. We believe that Kristin at one time was on Paul Flores' father's property. We know she's been moved. So where's she moved to? So we're hunting that down. I think my gut tells me that all we can do is everything we can do, and continue to try to follow everything and not be disappointed and never give up until Kristin is returned. So, it's hard because I've been through so many ups and downs with this case. I've had so many conversations and so many different directions, and it's hard to inherit an old case, let alone one that we have a lot of new cases that we have to investigate. And so putting the effort into it, Clint's position was because I wanted a cold case detective, unsolved case detective that could devote time to it, because it's hard to carry a caseload as a detective, because I've been there, and then have this cold case or unsolved case that is handed to you that you got to get up to speed with, especially a case that this is this old with so many hundreds and thousands of reports that you have to read before you can even start a direction. But I think I can say to you personally, Adam, for me, I have had the peace of mind, at least, that don't get discouraged.
and don't let the parents get discouraged. And that's why I've had so many conversations with them, and when we hit a search warrant, we hit a dig, we hit something, and trying to keep them out of, just pure disappointment, because you're almost victimizing them, and you're victimizing everybody that's involved in the case to gets their hopes up. You're like, we finally got it. And
Yeah.
I've said before that this is the case that we didn't feel, and I didn't feel personally, that we could ever catch a break. It's like everything we did, we couldn't catch a break. And we'd finally get something, and we think we're going, and then it end up not being what we wanted or what we thought. And then we'd go another direction. So it's a lot of ups and downs, but it's hard on everybody involved, but it's the worst on the family, because the family, the only thing that they are wanting now is they want their daughter's body back. And, you don't want to disappoint them, but it's more than disappointing. It's, to me, what is right and what they don't have. There's no closure, and people have used that word. There is no closure. There's justice, and there's some form of peace that they have their daughter back. And that's all, that's all you can do. And so, you don't want to disappoint any victim, and it's not just the Smarts, it's anybody. But, at the same time, you don't want to re-victimize them. And so to me, it's been about having a relationship with them, having trust with them, having the ability to tell them, we're working on something, but I can't tell you. It's not time. And it's hard because they want to know. They get their hopes up, and you want to say, hey, I want to tell you everything, but you can't. You got to preserve the integrity of the case. That's not the way we do it. And I can tell you with them, they're incredibly good people that have done nothing but have trust and faith in us. And, we're doing everything that we know of humanly possible to find and return Kristin.
Wow. Well, May is also, Sheriff, May is Denise Smart just celebrated her birthday. May is the month we lost Kristin. And at least to me, today does not feel just like another day on the job for your team. It feels like there's history here. There's weight here. So on behalf of a community that's really been holding its breath for a long time, thank you and your team for staying with it, not letting this go, being as steadfast as you have been as a man on and off the air, on and off the job. And I just can't thank you enough for taking this exclusive time to share with our audience. It means a lot, Sheriff. You mean a lot to me in the show. So thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot.
Oh, thanks, Adam. Appreciate you too.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, Sheriff, thank you truly for your time, your transparency in a moment that's literally still unfolding. You heard him say they could be there for days. Saw Chris Lambert post this picture of, he was there yesterday, kind of across the street, kind of zoomed in, taking pictures literally of the moment that authorities, I think it was even Detective handing this search warrant or showing it to Susan Flores, and just this look on her face. And then one picture where she looks right down at Chris Lambert and just flips him off. But what she doesn't get is that a picture like that made our day. Seeing her day messed up and disrupted with this kind of potential truth that we could be about to discover. Also, I want to tell the sheriff, thank you for trusting this platform, for choosing to share this moment. I mean, especially the way news is changing, it really shows that he understands the connection we have with this community, with our audience in real time. It means a lot to us. It really, really does. And I don't take that lightly. We're going to continue to follow this story closely. I reached out to Chris Lambert. It would be, of course, he's always welcome here. I'd love to have him. So he's more than welcome on the show anytime. And we'll keep folks updated as more information becomes available. And who knows, maybe we'll be seeing a press conference really soon. That would be something. All right. I want to thank some supporters of this show for being here. We didn't do it in the beginning because it just didn't feel right. But, our friends at the Paso Olive and Lavender Festival, they've been supporting the show. Look, Saturday, in fact, we're going to have the folks on. We're going to have Gina Hambley on tomorrow from the Olive and Lavender Festival. Saturday, May 9th, downtown City Park. It's going to be an incredible event, completely free to the family. Check it out. You can learn more with the Downtown Main Street Association. But what do you got to know? I mean, it's completely free. You got over 107 vendors. A lot of the stores outside the circumference of the square, the park, are going to be doing some fun things as well. So make sure you check it out. Also, I want to thank our friends at the Mountain Air. You know, we love what they're doing there, right there on March Street. They've helped generations of locals get outside, all skill levels, hiking, camping, climbing. Make sure you show them some love. TheMountainair.com. Also, the Switchback.com. That is their sister shop where you can buy and sell used gear, give your stuff another run, let somebody else get their shot. It's incredible what they're doing. Great people too, Lindsay and Josh Herring over there at the Mountain Air, themountainair.com. And I do also want to thank our friends. I want to get everybody out here because a show like this, you know, a lot of people are listening to it, and I want folks to know who supports this show, and that is including Benny's Pizza. Love what they're doing. Real talk, if you haven't been to Benny's Pizza yet, what are we doing? Right? Benny's Pizza serving up that Detroit style heat, thick, crispy edges, sauce on top, on bottom, it doesn't matter. It's the kind of pizza you literally think about later. And then boom, happy hour hits. 4:30 to 6:30 Monday through Friday. They got $3.50 domestics, $2 off premium beer, wine. Grab a drink, hit the patio. Mother's Day's coming up. Grads are doing their thing soon. Father's Day is coming up. So get over there to Upper Monterey, 1601 Monterey Street. You can also call them 439-3838, place your order. And if you work in that area of Upper Monterey, then go get some lunch. They will get you in and out, back to work on time, come hungry, leave with a new favorite spot. I always say Benny's Pizza, it's not just where you eat, it is where you land. We love them. All right, so thank you so much for listening to all that, for listening to this interview with Sheriff Ian Parkinson. Again, our thanks to the sheriff and to all the men and women within the sheriff's department. We are behind you. We are in your corner. Thoughts, prayers with you, and of course with the Smart family. It is so cool that I got a chance to squeeze, you know, the birthday girl Denise Smart at the Lumina Alliance event. We've talked back and forth often, maybe via text, this or that, social media, but had not got the chance to meet in person and to meet her and stand and take pics with them. It was just really, really special. It was really special to give her a squeeze. So I hope that her heart is, you know, has a big deep breath in it now. And I hope that an even deeper one is on its way for her, Stan, of course, the whole family, the whole Smart family. All right, with that, I want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective for original music on this show, Start Again. Also, want to thank our friends at SlowCal Studios. That is the new spot. That is the new spot where we're doing our thing. In the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California, SlowCal, where the wine is world class, the people are oh so real, and life is too beautiful to rush. Returns well taken. Visit slowcal.com. Reach out to the show. You can click the Connect tab. Go to adammontiel.com. Appreciate you rating, reviewing, subscribing. Share this special episode with maybe somebody who has followed the case or whoever. It really helps, you know, others discover the community here. And with that, we're back tomorrow where it will be Friday. You have earned it. The weekend is just upon us. Till then, I'm Adam Montiel. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam.